Joe here with Zero Martial Training. We're now going to look at more of a boxing type footwork. So we're going to be moving more on the balls of our feet rather than the heels. And so as mentioned, we sit on our heels, we don't fall back on them. So I like how this transitions nicely. So your heel is stuck in the ground. Now you're going to move to the ball of your foot. So basically just knee then pushes downwards. Try to keep this elongated. Try not to be bouncy on this. Let this really stretch out and just let your heel just raise off. All right. Then so you'll have like from your hip to your knee will be like a straight line, and knee to heel will be kind of a straight line downwards. All right. And in the Wing Chun, how we have our feet like this, where I see this as important is that when we're in our stance, in our boxing stance, you see from the front, having that knee pointed in is protecting your groin, all right? And it's also protecting your knee. So if your knee's forward and you get kicked in the knee, it doesn't take a whole lot to get your knee to overextend backwards, and then you've dislocated and you're screwed, all right? So if you keep it like this and you get kicked, you can then roll with it better. Not saying you won't completely avoid knee injury, but it'll help a great deal, all right? And you want this back foot facing forward as much as you can, all right? As far as creating speed and strength in your movement, you want to treat it like you're a sprinter, right? We don't want to be like this, because people don't run like this. They run feet, toes pointing forward. So keep that in mind. Again, this is how the body works, natural body movement, all right? So knees in, toes in, protecting groin, protecting your knee, toes pointing forward as much as you can to create that forward explosive movement, all right? So for this, it is nice and balanced. You're more of a 50-50 here, all right? So then you're able to move forward and backwards. And again, we're going to incorporate the rear wheel drive like in Wing Chun, and we're not going to just step and fall. We're going to project ourselves in the directions that we want to move. All right. Okay, so now we're going to look at some simple stepping drills, all right, to use this boxing type stance. All right, so we're 50-50, say relax, and we're going to maintain this, try to do the hip forward thing. It's going to be slightly turn, all right, because we're more of a boxing, all right. So I like to consider my Wing Chun here when I'm doing more of the boxing. It kind of turns, but still we want our hands up in front, ready to protect, ready to attack. All right. So we can just do the forward step. All right. So we'll be driving through the knee. All right. So we're going to try to avoid, I'm just going to show you, we're going to try to avoid this push with the toe, like kind of thing, right? So we're going to want to drive the knee and keep this elongated type of calf muscle. So you want to drive through, right? And if you need, then the push can come in afterwards as an added thing, all right? Instead of the initial, it's the added afterwards, all right? So keep the elongated calf and you push, all right? From the moving backwards, we push like that. Okay, so after we've moved forwards and backwards, we can then move left and right. All right, so this creates a cross. All right, so move to the side. Again, you're pushing off. Go to that side, pushing off. All right, push, push. All right, same basic thing. You've just moved from sitting here to sitting here, and then you just. All right, very simple. Create a cross. So next one we'll look at is a square. Basically the same thing. All right, so move to the side, move to the front, move to the side, move to the back. Just go around and around. All right, go the other way. All right. Play with it, create different squares throughout the floor, wherever you want. Just find your balance, find freedom in it, stay relaxed. Try not to focus on the muscles. Again, focus on the joints. Driving through the knee, pushing off the ball of the foot. The ball foot is like a joint because that's where your toes are moving. It is another joint. All right, pushing through the back, driving through the knee, making that heel of the foot really stretch out, and push off the heel, or sorry, the ball of the foot. And if needed, you can then spring off that. All right, let that spring be the addition, right? So that gives you extra power and spring when you leave that as a secondary option to then spring forward. All right, so very simple. Over and over, play with it, move around the room, switch stances even. All right, so if I'm right foot and I'm going through this, I might move over here and switch forward. All right, play with it, find your comfort in it. So now we're going to look at diamond stepping. We're just going to imagine a diamond instead of using this direction. All right. So if I'm here, I want to move this direction, right? So say my opponent moves that way, and then I can move to him. All right. And then I can move, or if my opponent's here, I can move back on this angle. Now, if I go back this way, all right, I don't really want to do this. This just doesn't feel right. All right. So I would want to drop back. All right. So now I've switched stance. All right. Okay. So if we go back to here, I can either do a drop back, or I can turn slightly and come here. All right. It is possible to do all of them. So just try and move through the diamond. I can go back like this. All right. Go out, go in. Or I can go this way, this way, this way, this way. All right. This one gets a little more complicated for me, for myself, because I'm used to Wing Chun stepping. So Wing Chun stepping would, right? Because we want to always fall on that angle. I feel more comfortable with that angle. It is better because you're repositioning yourself into your strength and you're focusing on their weakness. All right. So again, I can't really be clear with this one because I always want to do something different. But again, try to move in a diamond shape. All right. So I push back off to the right. I can step forward, step back, all right? And again, you can switch back. All right, so you can see where I get a little confused myself with this one, but try both, work through, find what's comfortable for you, and just keep making different shapes, all right? And that diamond can be an X, right? You can create a little center point, step off, step back, step over, step back, step out, step back, step back, step back. All right. Very basic. Just moving angles, find where you feel comfortable. Always keep an imaginary opponent in your mind. Where are they? Position yourself, switch around. All right.